Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa.
And I'm Jessica.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Yay!
It's the new year. It is the new year. Oh my gosh, can you believe
I know.
2025?
It still sounds so far away. Like the past few years has just been like one really long year.
Yeah. Ever since 2020, it's just all clumped together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2025, that's actual real year that we're in?
Yes.
Like, where the flying cars at?
Girl, where my robot? Where is Rosie at?
It's
My Rosie the
coming.
robot.
It's coming. It is coming. Donnell was
It's
watching a movie on Netflix the other day called the movie with Megan Fox. This is Subservient. It's about like the AI robots and how they go crazy.
Oh, okay.
It was a crazy movie. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. I'm like, I haven't watched it.
I was like, why are you watching this? Yeah, so it's the new year and we have a lot to discuss.
We sure do.
Mercury retrograde is over. It's been over for about 2 weeks now.
Which means we're out of the shadow, because there's that shadow period that they say you might still experience.
Yes. I mean, I didn't experience. I mean, if I did experience stuff, I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
so is the age of Aquarius like now finally here, or is that still yet to come in February?
I'm actually not sure. For me, it's here.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe it's here. I think that the time when it kept dipping, because like in 2024, it was like coming in, going out, coming in. Well, let me explain. Pluto is the planet, right? So it's Pluto in Aquarius now for good for the next 20 years. I believe so.
Okay. It's a lot of stuff coming up for the new year. I feel like in December, a lot of people in my life just making major changes. And it wasn't like, it wasn't the typical New Year's resolutions. It was like, this is what I want to see happen in my life, and this is what I need for it to happen, whether it's changing how they eat, changing relationship statuses, making career decisions, leaving jobs, switching, like starting new businesses. Like so many people, like in December, we're doing major changes, and it's just like, oh, we going into the new year different now. Like,
yes. Doesn't it feel different when people are making those statements now? And I do think that it's because of Aquarius. I just typed it in and it says that on November 19th of last year, that's when it officially went into Aquarius. Pluto went into Aquarius, and it's going to be there until March 8th, 2043. So I think that the energy is there where it really does feel like it's a different time.
It's a different time. Yeah, it is a different time. And
especially to our age, it's time to buckle down.
Yeah, and I was saying that because I just feel very grateful and happy because I know I'm leveling up. I know that I'm doing the work that I need to do in different areas of my life so that I can reach my goals, be a different person spiritually. And I want my people around me to do the same thing. So when I would talk to somebody or have these conversations, I just felt like, yes, they're coming with me. Like we're all going, like, how you play in a video game like Super Mario, like we're all leveling up. It's not just one person. It's not just me. I get to bring, other people. We're doing this together. So I'm happy and excited to see what this year brings for myself and my family and my friends, friends and family.
We'll group them all together.
Yeah, so I'm excited. What about you?
Yeah, no, I am too. And it's really important. I've been making sure to definitely tell people, just pointing it out. Your word choice matters. Even with my kids, where I'm like, you don't play around about stuff that you don't actually want to happen. Like, don't play with it.
That's a good segue. That's a good segue into what we're going to be talking about this week. Well, right now, for our I am segment, the power of the spoken word and how our words literally create reality. Like what you were telling your kids, if you don't want it to happen, don't say it.
Yes.
Let's think about what we're saying. I specifically wanted to talk about it because it came up for me in December a lot. Just having those conversations with people and just thinking about how our words, you can have a certain attitude. You could have a bad attitude about life. You could have a negative attitude on life, and your words reflect your attitude. What you say, you by talking to somebody like, oh, this person is not in a good mood. This person is, or just their outlook on life is usually crummy just by the things that come out of their mouth. And so I just thought deeper, because that's what I do. I looked at it in a deeper way and thought like, wow, like somebody can literally change their attitude if they just change the nuance or just small words that they use. It's so crazy to me how that happens. Like our words literally can create our reality and what is happening.
Yeah, it does, because it can either increase discomfort or lessen discomfort. I know for myself, like I go to ChatGPT for that all the time, where I'm like, hey, can you reword this for me? This is the emotion that I'm feeling. And they're like, the AI is like, describing it in this way will add more precision. It's precision of your words. It's that really matters. And I've been practicing that, and pointing that out to people that I'm comfortable with, that I feel like will receive that over the past year. Because like even like my husband, he's someone who likes to play around a lot with his wording of things. And I'm like, or like he'll tell Justice, go clean your room, or I bet you're not gonna do what your mom said because you never do, something like that. And it's like, it's so easy to be like, no, Dad, like I'm still gonna do it. But I tell him, like, you need to say, I bet you are going to do what your mom said. Because you're going to, because you're now doing a lot better than you were before. I'm like, your word has so much power. Like there's so much energy behind what we're saying, because it's the thought. Like we have to think it first.
Yeah.
And that mental energy goes toward it. And then it's that person, the people who are hearing it receive that. And then it's like, well, now their thought power is there to bring it into fruition.
Right. I know. I have a habit of, I mean, we get it. I'm guilty. When I was a therapist before I had kids, I would tell parents not to say that your kid, don't call your kids bad.
Yeah.
And for some reason now I'm doing it. Like I'm like, okay, I need to think of another word for specific behaviors, or not even like. My mom had to correct me the other day, like, okay, don't say that because she's gonna live up to it. I'm like, okay, Mom, thanks for the reminder. Like, it's something that I know, but it still comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And it's somebody who was always my mom. She gets annoyed with me because I've always corrected people all my life from when I was little, and to me, words matter. Like, let's be intentional with the things that we're saying. She got annoyed with me. Mommy, I love you. She got annoyed with me one week because she had made a life decision. Her and my dad had made a life decision to eat clean. And we might do an episode with them, or more specifically around that on the podcast later on. But they had to do a cleanse and a detox, and on that cleanse and detox they had to take supplements, and they're herbal supplements. that is what they are. It was so, I don't know if it's just like mindset or just what she's used to, or just to help her stay on the regimen. She's like, I gotta take my meds. I gotta take my meds. And I had corrected her, like, oh, you mean your supplements? You mean your herbs? Like, I mean, food is medicine, herbs are medicine. Like, we all know that. But I just, maybe it was just me. Like, it's not meds. Like, let's
Yeah.
be careful with what we're saying. Like, you don't have to take medication
Yeah.
to survive. Like, okay, yeah, you might have, was she trying to get off anti-cholesterol medication or whatever, but like, you're not somebody that has to take 10 pills a day to survive. So let's not wish that into our life by saying, I gotta take my meds. Oh, I gotta get home so I can take my meds. Like, I get to go
Because
home. Let's reframe that. I get to go home and take my supplements because I'm changing my life. That is a reframe.
yeah, because you'll inadvertently get what you don't want without even, and it's the lack of attention to it. And you could also say the lack of intention. To
Yes.
intentionally choose your words, then you intentionally bring about what you wish, and even better than sometimes what you can even think of,
Yes.
because it puts you on a different level vibrationally and, attraction wise. Whereas, choosing words like medication, okay, well, that's going to lead to, okay, now I have different doctor's visits. Now I have different specialists. Now I have, it just puts you on like this downward spiral health wise. So I see why you would want her to, be like, hey, can you say something a little more
I know.
precise?
Yeah, she gets annoyed with me because I've been doing it my whole life. Like, I'm like, this is why I came here. I'm your child. Your children teach you lessons. Like, Alina, she corrects me. Like, I don't, she's a safety girl. Like, she'll make sure we're wearing our seatbelts before we like pull out of the car, because me and Donna don't have the habit of just like pulling out before putting our seatbelt on. She's like, oh, mommy. So I'm like, our kids are here. I'm your child. We're here to teach you a lesson. Like, receive it. So she's just like, I
Yeah.
receive it. Thank you, but stop. I'm like, okay, mommy, love you.
Right.
But yeah, it's even, I mean, people that know, just speaking of the specific, I mean, I'm not an expert on this science of, sound and vibration, but you know when we speak, we're putting energy out. This is energy. There's something that's coming out. We're using, mechanical forces, our tongue, our mouth, our jaws, to form sounds that have a frequency.
Yeah.
Those frequencies, that's on a whole nother level. The tone of voice that we're using, a way in which we say a word, okay, intonation, but we have meanings to the word. There's meanings, specific meanings that we place on words. And so put that with the sound frequency and the way in which you are saying a word, intonation, in, like you said, intentionality, that literally creates your reality. It does. It does.
One thing that I'm working on changing with the kids going back to school now for this year, now that we had a break, is my tone. You mentioned tone of voice, because last year, Justice, my daughter, she was like, Mom, are you mad or something? Are you mad at me in the morning? And I'm like, no, what? It's time to go. We need to get dressed. You got to get dressed. You need to put your shoes on. You need to do this, do that, do this, do that. And she's like, well, you sound like you're mad. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, I'm not angry right now. I'm just wanting to make sure that we get out of the house on time. And then even my son, we were on the phone together. You heard him say at one point, where I was like, yeah, this morning you asked me if I was mad at you, and I don't know why. I hear it in my voice right now. But you asked me if I was mad at you, and I don't know why. He's like, yeah, Mom, because the way you were telling me to do it made it sound like you had already told me, like I was in trouble. So I was trying to figure out what did I do wrong?
Right.
And so I'm like,
Right.
oh, shoot. Like, even though like what I'm feeling is a rush kind of feeling, my tone of voice, not my word choice now, but my tone of voice is telling them there's something wrong that you need to fix, and putting them into almost like this feeling of a frenzy that they're in, and they start to, it's almost like when you scare a cat, I got cats, but how their hair stands up and they go, ah.
Yes.
Right. So it's like I'm transferring this energy to them where now in their reality things are going wrong and something needs fixing, but they don't know what to fix right now. So I'm like, I need to scale it back. Like I need to wake up earlier myself and make sure that I am settled so that I can deliver a tone of voice to them that, is more gentle, I guess, softer.
Yes, that is softer. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That is definitely a chore. I don't know what it is. It's a task trying to figure out, like, how do I make these kids do something when in a calm, peaceful tone of voice. Like,
yeah,
how do we do that? We're gonna have to work on that. Maybe we could have an expert on the podcast to teach us, like, this is how you speak with intention so your kids know what you're talking about, or but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It takes practice.
It does take practice. It really does. I mean, but if you notice, like, too, I remember just my mom, and I hope I want to be different. Sorry, mommy, again. She would tell us the same thing 3-4 times before we would do it. My dad would say something, not even yelling, not even changing his tone. He'd be like, okay, put your shoes on. And we do it the first time. And she was like, why does your dad say something? But my dad is a calm person all the time. He stays at one tone, one level. Like and so maybe it's just that's him. And we know that. My mom, not so much. I don't know what it is, the dynamics, but you can get things done in a nice even tone. You just have to embody it and practice it, like you said.
It's almost like power is quiet, like real power is quiet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is true. But gratitude is another way that you can use your words to shape your reality. Like, I specifically remember when I was studying in nursing school, we were studying for tests, and we would be praying, like, Lord, please let me get this A. Let me figure out, what's, I mean, not let me figure out, but let me get this A. Let me pass this test. Let me not even get an A. Let me pass this test. But it was like one night we knew something went off in our brains, like, while we were studying. Me and my study partners, they were Nigerian women. I love them. We were just like, we need to just pray like we already got these grades. Thank you, Lord, for this passing test. Thank you, Lord, that I am a nurse already. Thank you, Lord, that I done passed these classes. Thank you, Lord, for bringing the things out into my memory. And I'm like, okay, I need to start doing this with other things. Like, I am grateful that I have a degree in nursing and I could do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And you are taking it another level and now doing it with your kids. I love that.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. The craziest thing happened to me once, where it was, I've been teaching, I've been practicing these things, right? This more intentional way of life. And I was like, oh shoot, like I need to get the kids on this too. Like this is more than just reading the Bible and going to church, right? This is a lifestyle. And
this is how you put it into practice.
Yes, putting everything into practice. And so, on the way to school, I had started last year, like, let's have gratitude sessions and, use the whole Abraham Hicks rampage of abundance kind of thing. Hers is super fast, but for them, of course, we take our time where I'm like, okay, what are you grateful for? And so justice now knows, like, what you focus on multiplies. And so now they're like, well, we're thankful for our house, we're thankful for food. And so they're also now then speaking. I had them do, like, what is it that you're looking forward to that hasn't happened yet, but you want? Be grateful for that it has happened, because it's definitely coming. You're definitely going to experience it. Yes. So why was I like thinking about my herbal company. I was like, oh yes, I'm so grateful for what was it, earning, this amount of money with my company. Oh, not just with the company, but it was what my free time for the year. I wanted to be able to have season passes or annual passes, excuse me, to Disney World, right? So I'm like, thank you for I'm so grateful that we can go to Disney World whenever we want to. Like, I don't have to go with my friend anymore because I can just go, like, I can go with her and I can go by myself because, she works at Disney. And so I'm like, I can go whenever we want to, like, can just be a regular weekend thing. We go to Disney, and I'm so thankful that we have these annual passes. And then what popped into my head was, oh, and I'm so grateful for High Vibe Herbal's contract with Disney and making teas for princesses, like princess themed teas. And suddenly, like, I saw the vision in my head of like what these bags of tea would look like. And I was like, hold up. What is this? I'm like, what thought train did I just jump onto? Because it just dropped in. And so Justice was in the back seat because we're driving to school. She's in the back seat. She's like, Mom, you got a contract with Disney? Congratulations. I was like, yeah, it's coming. Thanks. Yes.
You gotta watch out. We gotta come back to this and we're going to, it is gonna happen.
Yes. Yeah. I believe it. Look, I believe it. And it's just the best thing that happens when you do, as we're practicing speaking intentionally is, one of the thought leaders that I follow, Erin Lyons, she's like, think of different frequencies of energy, like low energy, where you feel bad, higher energy, where you feel good. There's a lot of different ones in between. And so she's like, think of them as a train. And whichever one you're on, you get all of the thoughts of all of the people that are thinking this. So it's like, if you're on that negative train, well, you get the negativity that you're on, plus you start to feel and start to communicate the negativity that all these other people are thinking. So what it just made me feel like, okay, I put myself on this train of gratitude. And I'm like, yes, I'm picturing us just getting our tickets and going whenever we want to then, like, here I am now making money with Disney too. Like, it put me on this whole other level.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was really, that it had me thinking too about how this simple act of gratitude and manifesting could just really open up your brain pathways to the possibilities of what can happen and what can be done. And it's self-care. Like, it is empowering yourself. It is it's almost like, you know what, I want things to change in my life, or I want my life to go a different way. And you're just, it's not a small way, because it's very big perspective. We like to downplay our mindset, and we like to downplay the things that we think and the things that we say, but this is what we're talking about. There is power. There is power in your mind. There is power in the words that you speak. There is power in your attitude. I mean, it literally determines, like, the health of your body, the health of your spirit. Like, there's a reason why people that have cancer, your survival rate depends on your attitude. That's a very well-known, researched. I've seen it in real life. Like, people, survive cancer or not survive cancer because of their attitude. Because of the things that they speak, the things that they choose to focus on, their gratefulness that they have in their lives. Like, that is a research factor. Your attitude, your gratefulness, your spoken word. So I don't want to downplay it, which is why we had this topic for the I Am segment. It's very important, and I want our listeners, especially parents of young children, to it helps you, like, as you're doing it, like, you know, if this is your first time practicing with it after after you listen to this podcast, or if you've already been doing it, take it a step further and do what Jessica's doing. Practice it with your children. Teach them so that they won't have to go back and learn it when they're 35 like us. It's like, let them grow up with this.
Yes.
Let them it was so funny. Like, I was just thinking, like, the daughter that I'm raising and the friends that she's gonna attract. Like, she loves this one little girl. I'm not gonna say her name out of respect for the child and her parents, but she they were like besties at school, and I'm like, who is this girl? Like, every time I've gone to volunteer at the school, I don't know who she is. This is a sidebar, so we may or may not keep this in the conversation. But every time I've gone to the school, she hasn't been there, so I haven't been able to experience her. And because I've seen the mom, I've seen them like leave and pick up and drop off, but I haven't been able to be there, like, while she's at school. And I so happen to like the school's Facebook page. So, Facebook, they bringing up people that suggested people that I may know, and the little girl's mom popped up.
Oh, okay.
And her profile picture, she has it looks like she's in a yoga studio. She has like a meditating Buddha like on the shelf behind her. She has a chakra system on. I'm like, okay, maybe her and this little girl are on the same frequency because they have moms that have similar interests. I'm like, okay, so let me just do what I'm doing, instill this into my child, like, embody this myself, and she will attract the people that she needs to attract just from me being who I am. So, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You don't even have to try.
No.
The only thing, literally the only thing that we have to try at is just being intentional. That's it.
And that's, yeah.
And it's and then it just becomes second nature. It's just learning to just be on that positive side, then just becomes second nature. Like, no matter what we're going through, there's still a possibility to think about things in a lighter way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's just reframing. Even my aunt, I love her. Even when you do say something, or you hear somebody say something that you was just like, no, I'm not really on that right now. She's always been cancel. That's her thing. Cancel.
Oh,
We're not saying that.
I have a girl. I forgot you said that. Listen. Okay. When I was listening to Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret, right? Mm-hmm. She does Q&As on Rhonda Byrne's the creator of The Secret. There are many books. There's a movie, several movies. She is doing live Q&As on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. That she started last year, I think. But in one of the Q&As, someone said, what do I do if I intentionally request or put out there something that I thought I wanted, but I don't want it anymore? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, just say cancel. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? I was like, where did I hear that from? You're reminding me it was from you.
Yeah, my aunt,
she says she's onto something. And that's the aunt that cured herself of breast cancer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to correct that. She didn't cure. She did seek medical treatment. Mm-hmm. She did not just completely not have, medical treatment or Western medicine. She did receive medical treatment for that breast cancer, but she also used, gratitude, prayer, essential oils, herbs, changing your lifestyle, de-stressing. Like, she cured herself in that way. You have to use everything. So it's not like she just went off and didn't have some sort of medical treatment. I realized when I said that last time, I'm like, oh, it kind of sounds like she didn't receive any, like she did it all by herself, but she did. That you can, but that's what we're talking about. Is you can't just give up your power when you go to the doctor and you seek medical care. She did have power in her breast cancer treatment experiencing by using all those alternative methods that I just said. So yeah, that's
what I tell customers all the time. A lot of people actually do have that question, or even that statement where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna meditate, and I'm gonna take this herbal medicine because I want to get off these meds. And I always say that is a wonderful, powerful intention. You do want to get off of the medication, but for now, you need the medication. Like the going, it's important to use both at the same time, depending on what's going on with your body.
Right.
You don't
Right.
you don't want to, put yourself in danger just because, oh, the Western meds are bad. Like they're not. They were created to help. Yes, there are certain side effects, but it is important to go through all avenues. But
Yes, it's about the power that you have
yeah.
as a person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that when you were talking about Rhonda Burns, I'm like, okay, yeah, that sets us up for the next segment of I Said What I Said. Jessica and I want to manifest and we want to speak about the people who we want to interview on our podcast and our show, because we've
Yes.
gotten very specific spiritual guidance that our show is headed in an upward direction, and that we will be having people who are, I'm just gonna say it, celebrities. We're gonna be adjacent to them. We're gonna be interviewing them. We received that guidance, and so we're like, okay, that's where we're going. We've gotten that spiritual guidance. Now let's manifest it and speak it out and make it happen.
Yep. I'm dancing in my chair if you're not seeing that on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm dancing in my chair because it makes me so excited. That's the energy that you need behind stuff that you're going to manifest, right? It has to make you so excited, like, ooh, you described in one of the previous episodes where your husband felt like a tingling sensation or like a burning sensation, like, ooh, I gotta move, I gotta move on this thought. That's what you gotta feel. That's the that's
Yes.
the bodily feeling behind getting this stuff to come forward.
Yes, yes. So, Jessica, who do you specifically want to interview on the podcast?
Okay, I would love to have Rhonda Byrne. Intention of speech. I am so grateful for Rhonda Byrne. Rhonda Byrne is someone who has not done many interviews at all. She's interviewed with Oprah and she's interviewed on the Great School podcast, and that's it. And then she was on Keep Expecting Miracles, our podcast.
Oh, yes, we're so grateful to have her.
Yes,
We're excited.
Man, so exciting. She changed. She's part of someone that changed my life. God showed her to me, and the fact that she could be on here, has said yes to Keep Expecting Miracles. Like that in itself is a miracle.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'll go next. I am grateful that we have the opportunity to interview none other than the great, the brilliant, the magnificent Tabitha Brown.
Yes.
We highlighted her on a previous episode. We've spoken openly before that we want to interview her, so I'm so grateful that it's here. I'm going to actually take the necessary next steps and prepare our interview questions, what we're going to focus on, what we're going to talk about with her. And so I'm so excited and so happy. I can't wait.
Yes.
It's coming soon.
Yes. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. I love that Tabitha Brown said yes. Look, I go extra, okay?
Yes.
Like they said yes, and now we're preparing.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go next. Matias de Stefano.
Yes. Ooh, Matias is somebody that we both discovered almost in the same time frame, like literally the same time. Like, oh, Matias, like from watching Gaia, and then we started following him on Instagram, and then looking at his interviews on YouTube. He is a spiritual thought leader as well. He is somebody that remembers past lives, ancient past lives. And he started to remember them when he was a young boy. So he has access to things and information that allow him to be a thought leader and allow him to help people in their lives. And so, yeah, I can't wait to talk. What should we talk about with him though?
Oh
Like,
man.
well, there's so many different directions that you can go with him. I think I
Yes.
want to specifically, main for me, because he's tied to Egypt. He said I think he used to be a woman that lived in Egypt
Mm-hmm.
back in ancient times. And so for me, because my family has a connection to the Egyptians, my mom specifically, which is why my business is called Isis. The name of it is called Isis, Egyptian goddess. I want to ask him how he was. What I want to ask him about that time. How do I tap into? How do I figure out like my past, my family's connection to that? Like,
That
there's
yeah,
something there. I want to
that's
talk
a great
about that with
question.
him. Yeah, I want to
I
talk about that.
I look, that must be what we're gonna talk about because that's what when you reminded me like he remembers past lives, it's like, bro, like, can you help me? Like, because I know he has his a course that he created that I signed up for, and
Hmm.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I'm like, but can we talk about this past lives thing? Because I'm
Right.
sure like if you can be awakened, so can we.
We can do it. We can do it. We have
And
that
to
ability to
it's one thing to read stuff in the history book, but it's another thing to remember. So
remember.
that it
Remember.
helps with being able to like, okay, but what did they just put in here just because they want to put it in here?
Right.
But what was real?
Right. Right. Yes.
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 All right, your person next.
Carolyn Mace. She was
Yes.
introduced to me by my cousin years ago, like back in 2012, I want to say 2013. I don't even know. Like she's on social media now, but she has books, audiobooks, CDs. She had CDs of her audiobooks and just her teachings that my cousin gave me. And she was one of the first people that I heard talk about soul contracts and how our
Mm-hmm.
souls make agreements uh with ourselves and other people, and we have very specific purposes and missions here. Like before we come to earth, it's all laid out. Like she explains, like you choose every specific thing, you choose every person, you choose your mom, your dad, everybody in your family, everybody that you come in contact with. Like she's the first person, and I that was like back in 2013 that I was here, so it was like kind of
Mm-hmm.
weird back then. But now, what are people talking about? This is what
Girl.
it's actually like more and more people have adopted that or said that that is to be true because they're
Yeah.
spiritually connected too. So I want to talk to her. I'm specifically right
Yes.
now listening to one of her audiobooks in Audible called Sacred Contracts, and
Oh, perfect.
how she uses. So maybe we could talk to her about that because I am somebody who like my energy gets drained very fast, and so
Mm-hmm.
my whole career, like as a therapist, as a nurse, like I've tried to figure out how to have boundaries, how to not take on other people's energy, how to preserve mine. And so her thing is all about preserving your energy, harnessing your energy, using
Mm.
your energy in the way that you need to use it
Mm.
so that you can fulfill your life's purpose. So after I listen to her audiobook, we're gonna have her on the podcast to interview her about
Yes.
that.
That is big. I cannot wait for that conversation. I'm so
Yeah,
excited for it.
yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
And you know what I was thinking? I was like, as you were talking about her, I was like, we need a way to tap into her energy. Like
Hmm.
I was gonna say, like, you need to tap into her energy, man. And you said
Hmm.
you're reading the audiobook. And I told you, I was like, with this next person, I'm just gonna continue listening to her songs to tap into her energy. Miss Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan. Ugh.
Yes,
Man,
yes,
she and her full moon meditations that she does on Instagram. When
yeah.
I saw that, I was like, oh, shoot.
It
Chaka
explains
Khan?
everything. Girl,
Yes.
her name is Chaka Khan.
Right.
It explains everything. It
Man.
explains everything.
I'm
When
like,
you said
Shaka,
me
we
that, I was
need
like,
you.
of course Shaka's doing full moon meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would love to interview her too. Like I think the focus for that interview needs to be I mean, because she's had a lot of different things going on in her life. Like, you can watch interviews and see. Like, I don't want to go chronicle her life. I want to specifically talk about her spiritual journey
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
you know, how it brought her to different points in her career and her life as a mother, and, you know, what she's doing with it now. Like, what is she doing
Yes.
now? Yeah.
Yeah, same. Because it's, you know, it's with her name, she's been spiritually tapped in for a long time. And
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, me now at the age of 35 am into full moon rituals and ceremonies and new moons. And, you know, to see her, like, my mom looks up to you and you've been doing this and I'm only just learning this. Like, can you teach me, Chaka?
Right. Right.
What sort
Exactly.
of advice do you have for us?
Right. Yeah.
Can
So
you
just
bless us with your presence so that
right.
we
Just
can?
feel that. Just be in
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Another person that I recently found not too long ago, I don't know if this is, excuse me, I don't know if this is her actual given name, but she goes by the name of Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in New Zealand and she's been popping up on a lot of people's podcasts. I saw her on somebody else's podcast and I'm like, she needs to come on ours.
Yeah.
She calls herself a healer. She is also the person that created the Soul 33 app that I mentioned on the last one of our last episodes about you know, meditations and affirmations that she does. But she had a very life-changing experience when she turned 33. And how she just is now able to access different planes and realms and talk to souls that have passed on. She's able to go to people's future selves. She's able to go back to the past. She's able to access people's like different lives, and she's healing people in real time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a 6-month waiting list just to get a session with her.
Yes. You know
And
what?
she's all the way
It's
in New Zealand too. Like, people are flying to
right.
New Zealand. Crazy.
And the
Crazy. I'm
thing
getting
is,
chills. Oh my
well,
gosh.
I want to address, I want to say, like, why would we invite her, especially after, you know, you're just learning about her, you're just finding her out. But there is a way to tell someone's authenticity.
Mhm.
You can just see the authenticity within her when you
Mhm.
hear her and listen to her speak. And I was watching, actually just yesterday, I was watching one of her interviews. I don't remember with whom she was interviewing with, but she was talking about one of her sessions that she did with a client, and she's like, I need you to explain to me, it says you're telling me your past self is telling me, but now I am the keeper of the artifacts. And she's like,
Mhm.
she said, you have to know that when I am in these different realms with the other version of these people, I don't
Mhm.
know what any of this stuff means, so I have to speak it out to them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I was like, oh shit, what's she saying? And she said that the person told her, oh yeah, well, right now I work at a museum and I make sure that I keep all the artifacts safe. I'm like, what?
Wow.
How could
Wow.
you, like,
Because that's the
that's
thing, when she has a
huge.
session, you cannot speak. The person
Wow.
doesn't speak. You can't
Wow.
speak. She just taps in, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's what she was saying, like, she has to say stuff because she doesn't know any information about these people.
Mm-hmm. I cannot wait for her to
She
come.
Girl, I knew she was legit. I started watching her, right? The interview was a 2-hour interview, so of course I fell asleep. I had a dream, girl. I had a dream that I was in a reading with her, that she did a reading for me, and she was telling me something. I'm not gonna say what it was. She was telling me something, information I was about to get. This was weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like, you know how when you sleep, but you're sleeping, you know you're asleep, but you're like, okay, I'm gonna stay asleep because I'm dreaming right now. Like, I was aware on very different levels, so I was like, I'm gonna keep this on. I'm not gonna pause this because I'm still getting the information that she's speaking, even though I'm sleeping. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still tapping into it subconsciously. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep it on. And my dream got stronger and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until somebody turned the TV off. I'm not gonna say who, But then I woke up. I was like, "Whoa, that was a weird dream." I had a dream that she was doing a reading for me, and I remembered the stuff that she gave me in the reading. Then I watched the interview further. She was just like, "Yeah, people." This is after I woke up. Now I'm awake. This is real time. She says in the interview that people have dreams that she does readings for them, and the stuff comes true from from their dreams, just from people watching her interviews. She was just like, I am that powerful of a person that people are able to tap. Like, if you come in contact with me, your spiritual gifts are enhanced. She's a multiplier. I was like, I was in
And it
shock. I was
happened.
like, no, this lady
Yes.
didn't just describe what just happened to me. How did
Right.
she know that?
That's crazy. That's why
And
we have to have her on
but
here.
why did this stuff happen though?
Yeah.
Stuff already happened. Remember I told you what it was?
Yes.
It happened.
Wow.
It
Oh my
happened.
gosh. Oh my god. I'm not connecting the dots to like right now at this moment.
Yes. Yes. The information that she gave me
Wow.
in the dream
Wow.
already happened. So I'm like, okay, we
Yes.
gotta have her on here. We gotta have her on here because
Mhm.
she seems like you said, she seems like a genuine person. Like I can
Mhm.
tell when people are genuine too. And she seems so genuine, so caring, so loving. Like I'm
Mhm.
excited to interview her. Like I hope we get her soon.
Yes,
We
yes.
will have her
I look
soon.
forward to that. All we got to do is prepare because after this is then taking the action
Taking the action.
to prepare for it. That's that I posted before once on my timeline just some words that I came up with, and it was, you can ask God for whatever, right? You can just ask for anything that you want, but are you ready to receive it? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what to do with it when you get it?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be
Mm-hmm.
ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
You have to be
our
ready.
next person that we both want on here is the amazing Ayanla Van Zant.
Yes. Oh
I
yes.
love her. I love
Mm-hmm.
her transparency.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
how she I love how I feel like I want to say reachable she is. How
Yeah.
like she knows where she's needed. Like she's somebody who's up here. Like she's on Oprah status. With the people that she's around, with stuff that she does. Of course, I know Oprah is someone who helped her, come to stardom, but it's stardom. When I say stardom, I don't mean like, you know, just putting on money wise. I mean, like with people who know of her, the amount of people
Right.
that she's able to reach and able to help.
With her
And like,
fame. Yeah.
yes, with her fame. And she was on that one, it's like a podcast slash show. I think it's called Tonight's Conversation or something like that, where usually don't I'm gonna just say don't judge me for this, but I feel like in tonight's conversation they're always talking about like dating, they're always talking about like young people stuff, like
Okay.
oh, what's high value in a man, what's high value in a woman, oh,
Oh,
sleeping with this
okay.
person,
Yeah.
that person, that type of thing, like to
Yeah.
me that's lower level conversation.
Yes.
But she went on there and she was like telling she was teaching how to manifest the type of person that you want to be and the type of person you want to be with. Not using these words, not saying this is how you manifest that. She just said this is what you guys need to be doing, in a different
Oh, in
way.
a different
And I'm
way.
like, look at her going over here and like speaking to these people in a way that they understand.
She knows how to reach people at their level, where they're at.
Yes.
She meets
That's what I'm
people
trying
where
to
they're
say.
at, and she's just like if you're right here, she can meet you right. She can meet you there. She's
That's a
that type of
skill.
person. It is a skill. It is a skill. Her and my mom, she loves Iyanla too. So many people tell her, sometimes depending on what wig she has on, tell her that she looks like Iyanla. But my
Yeah.
mom has that skill too. She's able. I was telling my mom that like she had recently gotten to know some new people, and she's my mom loves people. She's so excited when she gets to know new people, and she's
Mm-hmm.
building relationships. And so I was like, yeah, you're that type of person. You can do that. I'm not. I feel like I'm not that type of person. Like I can't just do that with anybody. But my mom is like because she's able to meet the person where they're at. She has that same skill as Ayanla has. It's
Yeah.
a very specific skill, And I'm like, that's why people tell you look like her, because y'all are like the same.
Yeah, they're very
Y'all are
similar.
the
And I mean, I never said this to you at all, but yeah, when Ayanla first came out, Ayanla, excuse me, when she first came to stardom, I thought about your mom. I was like,
same.
oh,
Mhm.
and then they names start with an I.
They both start with an I.
And then when they be telling you about yourself, they sound the same way.
The
Like,
same exact way, girl. It's scary.
oh, look, listen,
It's
mom on TV.
right. Exactly. It's so funny. Exactly. The
Mm-hmm.
next person that we want to have is Angela Bassett.
Angela, Angela, Angela,
I
Angela.
the roles that she's had, she has to be a spiritual person to have to
Yeah.
have been able to embody Tina Turner.
Mm,
I mean, come on now. Like
yeah.
the roles that she's had, the things that she's done, I feel like you have to have some spiritual foundation. What is it? Can you be open with
Mm-hmm.
us and share it with us and tell us, because you are somebody that I've always looked up to her. She's very regal. She's
Yes.
very like, you just her seeing her in Wakanda playing
Yeah.
like the queen mother, like I'm like, that is you. That's how
That's
you
her.
are. That is
That was an authentic
her.
role.
That
Mm-hmm.
was. That
Mm-hmm.
was. So I
She
definitely
ain't
want to
have
have
to
her.
try.
No. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have her on the show.
Yes.
Definitely.
I look forward to that and seeing her beautiful face and yes, oh my gosh. I can just hear her now. I can hear her voice
Me too.
and what she would all the encouragement that she would give to us.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. I can see her smiling and talking to us and
mhm,
looking at us. Like, hopefully
mhm.
I mean, virtual is more, people, even these major podcasts, these major interviews that we're talking about, they're virtuals. Like me and Jessica, we're like, we want to be in a studio. That's another manifestation. We want to be in a studio with
Yeah.
actual cameras and stuff. But if it has to be virtual, we'll take it. I'll take it. Like, if that's what's
Yes.
going to make it happen and make it possible, hello, like, I'm open to it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, the last person
Our mhm.
who oh, you can go on. You can go,
Oh,
Jessica.
okay. The final person
Yeah.
that we look forward to is Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yes. Yes,
For many
Jada.
reasons. For many reasons. Not only is she like still a very down to earth person, she still is like an around the way girl. She's been through so much, but still has kept her head up high at all times.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
um, yeah, I just go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I think I wanna interview her specifically about where she's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Red Table Talk was it had us all, like, tuned in. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it had me tuned in, I don't know about everybody else, but I was tuned in, and I loved my favorite episodes is when she talked about, um, how she got caught up in Will, as like when they had their kids, and they were filming these different movies, like Jaden was filming Karate Kid and she was doing The Matrix, and they were like everywhere, like the power
Mm-hmm.
couple, like boom boom boom, we're doing this and our kids are actors, and Willow is, I whip my hair back and forth, but she was not
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk to her more about that and the spiritual aspects of that, and just about motherhood, and just getting herself, like how she got lost in that marriage, like doing everything for Will.
Yes.
Like,
I can relate. Plus, she got these older kids, now adults, but
adult.
it's also like doing
Mhm.
all of this, like parenting your kids in a different way
Mhm.
in the limelight, everybody judging you,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
still sticking with it.
Mhm.
And,
'Cause people
having
thought they
to,
were crazy. People thought they were crazy
yeah, yeah.
for their parenting
Meanwhile,
style.
Jaden's a whole humanitarian.
Yes.
And I
With
will
his
say
just
that,
water.
yeah,
It's good too, even though it's
my
just water.
Jaden is named after her Jaden because when I heard his name, I was like, that's the one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Jada, we need to talk.
Yes, we
Please.
do. We do. I hope
Yeah.
to have her very soon. We will have her. I can see her smiling at us saying, "Ladies."
Yes.
I can hear her saying that to us.
Yes.
So I'm excited to
Yes.
have her.
I
Yeah,
know.
this
I am
is
too.
good.
Just her energy. You know, she's just so she's so pure. I feel like in the media portrays her as someone who can be chaotic. But it's like
Mhm.
we're all chaotic. Like we're all
Mhm.
they see her as just someone to talk about, which you know helps with I mean, I guess it helps with keeping her relevant.
Yeah.
But you know, how do you keep your head on your shoulders so well? How do you keep your crown straight?
Mhm.
Um while you know, being at the forefront like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that conversation and all the advice that she can provide to us as mothers who are spiritually connected and
Mhm. Mhm.
with
Yeah, you're
with
absolutely right.
with husbands who, you know, are out there doing big things.
Mhm.
That part.
Mhm. And how to not get lost in those roles. It's
Yeah.
just to appease them, just to have the picture perfect family. I tell the Donnell that all the time. Like, this is not what we're not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we need to be real. We need to be real.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I can feel that. I can see it right now. I can hear her voice. I'm experiencing it. I'm receiving. I'm getting chills again. Like my arms are like, ooh, I can feel it. I can feel
Yes.
it. I'm excited. But we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is I got a nerve for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's your cue, Jessica. You're supposed to say
I
I
know.
got. You're
I
supposed to
got a nerve for that.
right. I'm like, hello. The herb that we're talking about, I was mentioning dreams before. I am a dreamer. We will have an episode, Jessica. We have to put this on there. We will have an episode about dreams. I want to have an expert maybe
Yeah.
talk to us about dream work and the
Mm.
significance of it. But we're talking about mugwort. Tell us about mugwort, Jessica.
Yes, I am actually typing into our thing right now, dream work, because I want to make
Oh,
sure that we don't forget about that. Because,
yeah.
sidebar, I was planning New Year's stuff with ChatGPT for High Vibe, and some information came up about dream work. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, shoot, with the herbs.
Hmm.
Yes, let's
Hmm.
talk about dream work with the herbs, and this one specifically with mugwort. And the Latin name for mugwort is Artemisia vulgaris.
Hmm.
Um, that is what it's called. So it has a lot of different benefits. It's used as a digestive aid. So it helps with
Mm.
digestion. It's traditionally been used to relieve indigestion, bloating, and it improves your appetite by stimulating gastric juices. Um, I've experienced that myself where it helped quell you know, it just made my tummy feel good when I drank
Hmm.
it for the
Hmm.
first time. Menstrual support is also what it provides. It's an emmenagogue, which means that it also helps to, well, I think you said emmenagogue brings on the blood, right?
Brings on the blood, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it helps to regulate your menstrual cycle and helps with easing the period cramps. So that's really good.
Hmm.
It also helps with sleep and relaxation. It's very calming. It allows for a restful sleep. Also, it's great for if for someone who suffers from insomnia, if they're looking
Mm.
for something to go to, maybe you know not wanting to go to sleeping pills. Mugwort is a powerful plant that they can
Hmm.
go to.
Hmm.
It's antimicrobial. It is anti-inflammatory, as many plants are. It shares
Hmm.
those same features.
Hmm.
It helps with fighting infections and reducing inflammation. Mental clarity.
Mm.
It's a mild nervine. Um, or excuse me, a nervine herb, which means that it helps the body. It allows you to release stress and anxiety within the body.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so there are some contraindications. It is not recommended for women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. It can
Hmm.
stimulate the uterus, excuse me, to stimulate the uterus. It can possibly lead to complications. Definitely, what you do is go to your doctor
Hmm.
and ask, you know, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Um, if you have allergies in the Asteraceae family, like
Hmm.
ragweed, daisies, marigold, um, calendula,
Mm-hmm.
chrysanthemums,
Mm-hmm.
chamomile. If you're allergic to any of those, mugwort will not be for you.
Okay.
Because it could possibly cause an allergic reaction. Of course, up to your discretion. It's also not for people who are taking blood thinning medications or with bleeding disorders, because it is an emmenagogue, which means it helps with bleeding. So it can act as a blood thinner. It's also not recommended for people who are prone to seizures. And so these contraindications, this is actually more contraindications than other plants that we have had on our I've got an herb for that segment. And I just want to say that just like with prescription medications, they all have side effects. With even though mugwort is a plant, plants also have not everyone is meant for everything. Not every plant is meant for everyone, everybody.
Right.
So it is really important to do the research on, should I be taking this plant? Don't let that scare you, because I know I've had customers that'll be like, oh, well, I'm afraid to take it. It's like, well, did you do the research?
Right.
What is scaring you about the plant? Just find out. That's important. But it is a dreamy herb, which is why we were talking about that.
I want to speak to it just for a second too. I had somebody that, I don't know, I think I first was introduced to mugwort in a tea, maybe, or just a tea that I had gotten in Phoenix. It had mugwort in it, and then one of my coworkers, oh my goodness, she is not, she's still alive. She is a funny individual, funny lady. She used to take mugwort and put it right under her bed. And she would wake up and be like, I had this vivid dreams. Like, I still haven't even done that. But I'm like, is it really that strong? But so when I started drinking the tea, it helps you go to sleep. Like, it knocks you right out. You do go to sleep and you do have dreams. Like, it's not like, oh, if I take this, it will. No, if you are a dreamer, even if you're not a dreamer, at the very least, it's going to make you sleep. Like, it puts you into the REM sleep. Like, when I drink mugwort, I'm like, ooh, what ride am I going to go on tonight? Because I know I'm going to have some dreams. And I like it because it puts you in a deep sleep. So that's been my experience with it. I'm like, oh, I love it doesn't, I have to put a lot of honey in it, let me just say that, or mix it with, I'll mix it with another herb that tastes really good.
I like the flavor, Ilissa.
Not me. Not me.
I was like, I don't know what's up. I like those strong flavors. So like the plants that have a strong flavor. Because I just recently had it a few months ago.
Well, last month. It's a flavor that you have to get used to for me. Like, I like it because I'm a tea drinker, but for people that are not herbal tea drinkers, like pure herbal tea drinkers, loose leaf tea herb, putting the tea in the thing, and it's not a herb that tastes good.
I know.
You got to mix it with maybe peppermint or a herb, maybe chamomile even, because it's another one that'll help you go to sleep. Not peppermint, but chamomile or even calendula. Calendula will even it out, because I have mixed it with calendula before. And it evens it out. You know what I've done? I've brewed some mugwort tea and dropped some blue lotus tincture in the tea.
That sounds good.
That, when I tell you, and it tastes good too. I was like, oh, this is good. Yeah. This is good. It's like you have a cocktail.
Yeah. When I said that sounds good, I wasn't talking about taste, because
not the taste.
I love blue lotus, but I hate the taste of blue lotus.
Yeah, not but the taste, just like how it makes you feel.
Yes. They go hand in hand.
I mean, look, I know it ain't no alcohol in there. Like,
yes, look, let me go ahead and start making a dream elixir.
Yes, exactly.
Some mugwort and blue lotus. That sounds good. But it does, we do have some spiritual purposes in our notes here, where it says it's deeply tied to dreams, intuition, and psychic visions. It's been used for centuries for lucid dreaming, divination, and astral projection. let's see, it talks about placing it under your pillow, like you just said your coworker did, to enhance vivid dreams and dream recall. And the first time that I had mugwort, I did have dreams. Like for a while, for some reason, I haven't really been having dreams that I remember. Um,
Mm.
and that just happens with me sometimes. It's almost like the
Sometimes.
angels are like, let her relax. We
Yeah.
gave her too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so like I started drinking. I was like, I told the angels, I'm like, I'm ready. I told God, I'm like, I'm ready, God. I had enough rest. Like, you can show me more of my dreams. And I had dreams that I just don't recall it like it says that it would. But it also takes having a deep sleep, and I had to wake up early the next day. So you have to make sure, like, when you're using the plants, you use them in conjunction with a good diet, and then also with being rested.
Yeah.
It's an overall practice, healthy practice.
And with intention too,
Yes.
like that's another thing. The power of the spoken word is you can intentionally say, "Hey," like that's what my coworker would do. She would want specific information, or she would want to answer, or she would just want to dream about something.
Mm-hmm.
Write it down, say it out loud, drink it, go to sleep, put it under your pillow. You will get the answer. You will have
Yeah.
a dream and it will come to you. I'm not
Right.
even lying to you. Like the stuff that she would tell me, my mouth would be on the floor. Like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
She would even put it in her bath. She would take a bath and put it in her bath, have a bath with it.
Wow. Wow. Well, to conclude, Mugwort, it is associated with the moon. That is the planet that it's associated with, as well as it's a symbol of feminine energy. So that's good. It helps with spiritual healing, spiritual healing, and it's an element of earth. And one thing that I follow Rosemary Gladstar. I have a few of her books, and I listen to her podcast as well. And on one of her, I can't even tell you which video or podcast it came from, because she's done so many interviews. But
She's
she
an
talked
herbalist,
about,
by the way. She's an herbalist for
yes.
those that don't know. Rosemary
Thank you.
Gladstar.
Yes, Rosemary Gladstar. She's a great herbalist. She started it back in the 1960s, and during the hippie realm, hippie era of Earth. But she discussed how different mugwort from different places. She makes dream pillows. And she was saying that mugwort from one side of the U.S. is a little different than the mugwort from the other side of the U.S. Like mugwort from New York is different than mugwort from Cali, kind of thing. So I'm interested in trying it and comparing that for myself.
Yeah, and that's why people, when I learn with, that's why when you learn about different cultures living in Phoenix with the people, the indigenous cultures, is they truly believe in using the medicine, the plants and the herbs that are native to where you live.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't, I mean, grow local food, all of that is getting local because the environment is there. You're in that environment, you're living it, it's attuning to your vibration. So it's what you need for where you're at. Like the plants in California don't know what I need if I'm living in New York.
Right.
And that's what indigenous people, when they talk about like being disconnected from the land and from the plants and the herbs, is like you have to be in community with all this stuff and be around this stuff for it to be medicine to you. It's not gonna help you if you're removed from it, if you're disconnected from it. So yeah, you're exactly right. I believe that she learned that from them. That's a whole nother conversation. When we have, I respect a lot of the herbalists that are, of the inside hand, the white herbalists, but we know that they've gotten a lot of information from African people, from Black people, from indigenous people, and they've turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, and it is what it is.
Yeah. But that's a great segue into the witchy shit segment.
Yes.
Because for witchy shit, we are talking about this religion that I don't know if I can even, does it even qualify as a religion?
Yeah, it is. It's a religion. They have it's a religion. They're able to, it's non-taxable donations
Okay.
That was the creator's whole point of it, is to get a religion so they can make money.
Well, we're talking about Scientology.
The Church of Scientology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scientology. And it's I studied religion. It's part of my undergrad thing, studies in college. And it was where I had like, a class on religion. Of course, you're forced to take like the humanities classes and stuff. And so, but I also did my own private, like, I'm interested in learning everything about what everyone believes on this earth and finding the truth here, you know?
Yeah.
And so South Park, the cartoon South Park, they have an episode on Scientology.
Oh,
That was
wow.
so funny. I remember being in class and watching that and just seeing how funny it was, but and also how creeped out I was about it at the time when I was learning it. How they're like, oh well, we have a room that you go to, and in this room we have a machine, and the machine, you have to hold on to it with two hands, and you hold on to the metal probes, and it tells you how many negative ions you have and positive, something like that. I'm saying ions, I'm not sure if that's what it was, but that basically was able to tell you like what you needed. I don't know.
Well, so what it does is that it's a part of when you go through the program. So there's steps. You
Mhm.
have to learn, you have to read books. You go through a program, and they're called like getting on the cans, because that's what it used to be, like cans, when it was first created. And you basically they would record the session. So one person would be
Mhm.
on one end, and you, as it's like you're going into, it's almost like symbolic of you going into a priest and you're confessing.
Yeah.
So you would just be talking about your life experiences, and they would record the sessions. And I don't know if you receive like electric magnetic probes or shocks as you're talking. And so when you talk about certain things, you I don't know if you get shocked or you get desensitized. It's something. But basically they were using they would use that. They would keep the tapes, and they would use, because it would be people's deepest, darkest secrets. They would
Mm.
use that against people to
Oh
manipulate them.
wow.
Yeah, girl,
Okay.
you gotta watch Going Clear with Leah Remini. That's a documentary. It's on, I think, I don't even know if it's on Netflix. It might be on Netflix now, but it was on HBO a long time ago. Uh she used to be in Scientology, the Church of
Mhm.
Scientology, and she talked about why people got into it at first. And I believe that it gained popularity back in like the 70s or 80s because it gave people purpose.
Mhm.
It was a very well thought out. Okay, Ron L. Hubbard, he's the creator of it. He I would just say he was out of this world genius. Like, he created the religion from top to bottom. He something about asteroids, and I don't even know. He got the information from an alien out of space somewhere. I don't even
Mhm.
know. But he came up with a program, and people were introduced to the program where it started changing their life, because you have to go through different steps. And one of the things, which is why her documentary is called Going Clear, is because that's what you have to do when you first get into it.
Mm.
So you have to fast,
Mhm.
you have to pray, and you have to just consume information, learn about the religion. And you get on the cans, you clear your conscience, you can make all your confessions on the cans, and you're now clear.
Mhm.
And you have to go up the ladder of um all the steps that they have. And basically you're paying more money into it at each level that you go up, so the church can gain more money. It when it first started out, I believe that it was the intentions of the people were more pure than it is now at the very,
Yeah, of
very beginning. But
course.
obviously it became
Mhm.
very convoluted, very manipulative, very
And
controlling.
go ahead. I'll let you finish that thought.
But yeah, so it's I feel like it could have been something if it didn't get out of control. It could have been a positive thing if it didn't get to where it is now, where they use abuse and manipulation, and There's people that have gone missing. There's a whole documentary on people, how people had to escape out of it. Like, it takes you away. Like, what you have to do is you have to get yourself and all your family, and you can't associate with people that are not in it. It's crazy.
And that's why a lot of celebrities were in it. And what I was going to say was that I think it became like that, like an abusive kind of thing, because of the celebrities that were in it, you know? And they joined, like, you know, one after the other. Like, I'm, you know, in the Church
No,
of Scientology now.
it was manipulative and abusive before they even got in it. They had specific plans. So she discusses how they even uh started the Celebrity Center in LA. Like,
Oh,
the
okay.
goal of it was so that the religion could get more money and more notoriety. Like, if people see that these celebrities are in it, this celebrity's life is going well, then maybe my life will be like that, so I'm gonna join it too. So they had specific people. It's very well thought out. People would target certain celebrities.
Okay.
Like, they would have certain parties and certain meetings and be like, okay, I want this person to be in it, so this is what we're gonna do. We're going to have this party. We're going to do this. And the whole thing would be to just get that one celebrity to join the church.
Wow. Yeah, I know, like, John Travolta was in it, of course. The
Tom Cruise. I think they're still in it.
Smith family.
And that's a whole nother thing that you can't use. They don't believe in medical doctors. Medication. That's how John Travolta's son died. They didn't take their son to the hospital.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because they refused medical intervention. He had some type of, I don't know, may he rest in peace, but something was wrong with him. He grew up with an illness, and they stopped medically intervening on him, and he died.
Wow.
Because the church didn't believe in that.
Yeah. Wow.
But
That's
my
so interesting.
specific, when I started learning about it, like, the first thing that I ever seen was Go and Clear, that documentary. Then I had a client. I used to be a therapist. I had a client where it was a black now in Atlanta. It was a mom. She was very, like, she was a nice person. She very charismatic, very, like, somebody who I would say is successful, had businesses. Her daughter was somebody that she adopted. I had her in therapy with her, and I'm trying not to give a lot of information out, but about the specific people. But so I think I had just watched a documentary or something, and I had mentioned it in a therapy session, because that's what I do when I watch something. When I consume it, like, it's in my psyche, it's in the forefront of my mind. So it just came out, and she was just like, "Yeah, you do Scientology, you know about?" I was like, "No, I just watched a documentary." She was like, "Well, um." Take what you need and leave the rest. She was like, it's not something that I practice actively, but she basically was telling me that she's gone through the steps.
Oh.
And there was a business partnership that she was in years before that, where it was an entrepreneur that had different businesses. They were trying to bring back the Black Wall Street, and everybody that they had a partnership agreement with had to go through Scientology business practices, and they said they would all go clear, because when you're cleared, that's when you're able to level up and do and create and be on point and be at the top of your game, which is why John Travolta, Tom Cruise, like, they're able to operate at such high levels, because they're using their methodology to get them to a certain point. So she was trying to tell me, like, hey, learn this stuff and use it. You don't have to be in Scientology, but learn their methods of reaching your goals. Take what you need and leave the rest. Like, you don't have to be in the religion, be in the church, and live that lifestyle, but you can take what they're using and apply it to different areas of your life to level up. I was like, oh, shoot. Okay. So fasting is one of the main things. Me and Donnell, we started fasting. We've gotten into that with the church. Obviously we're in the Christian church. there's a lot of the same principles. Like you're able to hear from the Lord. You're clear. That's the thing. You are
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
But she said
That's
when she had first did the program, she went through all the steps. She had lost 50 pounds. They was going to the sauna. They was going to the steam room. They was wearing specific colors on different days. I'm like, okay, that definitely sounds like a cult. But she said she had made so much money in like 2 months.
wow.
I know.
Yeah. Well, they took principles that do work, because
Mhm.
even aside from that, when you mentioned the clearing,
Mhm.
I don't remember that one. I just remember that they use technology to tell you how efficient of a human you were.
But
I
see
found that
that
one
but
crazy, but
yeah, but and I think that's where the manipulation is. Like
hmm
it's not actually
hmm
real.
yeah, there was
Yeah,
no possible way. I was like, that's such a lie.
yeah.
But it's the clearing where you have to empty yourself.
Mhm.
God's like, come to me, like, empty yourself, give cast your burdens upon me, like, give me all your issues. And
Mhm.
that's true. Like, you can't, like, we can't come here and manifest what we are looking forward to, or even receive what we're looking forward to, if we're filled with sadness, fear, doubt, you know all this stuff. We have to come
Mhm.
open and ready to receive.
Mhm.
And that's something that that of course is a good practice for everyone. But also, one thing that another thing about the religion that stuck out to me is their belief that we are stars, or like, we come from space. Humans come from space,
Mhm.
and we fell onto the earth and we've forgotten who we are. There
Mhm.
was a different documentary, not Going Clear. There was another one. It was narrated by a man, where he actually, like, shows him going into the church and asking these people questions. It's from
Mhm.
sometime in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
And yeah, the beginning of that documentary is where it's like a little cartoon. It shows us falling. It shows dust particles falling onto earth, and oh no, I've forgotten who I am.
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
but I'm like, but that's not all the way false. When I first heard that, when I first watched it, and that's one of the main things we were studying, where I was like, why would they think such a thing? And
Right.
then now I'm like, okay, well, if you connect cosmically, like, what we feel cosmically, like how connected to the galaxy that we are, that we are star beings, light beings, and all that there's a portion of that we can take away, that does add to our value of life.
Take what you need and leave the rest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not entirely completely outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's where you have to, we didn't get into it. Like I mean, I was listening to what that lady said. It wasn't like I like started studying Scientology, because I'm the type of person, like, when I start doing something, I kind of like take it on, and there's no way for me to start doing something and not like embody it. So it's like I have to be very careful with the things that I consume and the things that I learn about and think, because I'm not trying to get into that. And I mean, I'm not somebody that can be, I don't feel like that I can be brainwashed that easily. But that's where you have to know, when you start studying that type of stuff, when you start practicing that type of stuff, start practicing things that are used to control you, you have to be very aware and know, like, am in control of my own mind. I have the power. This is not a means of manipulation for myself. I'm not being manipulated. Like, you can't lean on it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't, let it take you over. And that's what people do. But yeah, I think that was yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Leah Remini, I want to interview her too. To go back, I want to interview her too, because
Yeah.
she's gotten a lot of people's stories. They have a whole now series on people that have escaped
Mm-hmm.
um trauma, people that have been abused sexually, physically, like the people that actually work for the church. Them people be working and don't get paid. They have people that, and then there's people that are like in the church. Like I remember when we figured out we were moving to Tampa, I was like, I don't want to move anywhere where there's people that practice Scientology. I don't want to be around them people.
Yeah.
When we found out we was moving to Tampa, because they have a big community here in Tampa. One of the people that Leah Remini does a documentary with, he is what's his name? Mike Render. He's Australian. Mike Render. He lives right here in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
He was a part of the church. And when he left the church, because they all live around each other, when he left the church, his neighbors stopped speaking to him. People stop speaking to him. Like it's a big thing when you leave. You like people, you can't talk to anybody. Like it's called
That's the control of religion.
I know it was horrible. It was horrible. So I was just like, I don't want to be around those Scientology people. I don't want to move to Tampa. But I haven't seen any. I haven't even seen the church. I don't even know where it is. I'm like, let me not even look it up because I don't want to open myself up to it. Cancel. Cancel.
Yes, cancel that real fast.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about it because we wanted to talk about it specifically because it is an interesting topic. It's good to learn about things, and what we're doing is, like we said, taking what we see is either interesting or something that an aspect that can help us, and applying it or using it and not being completely consumed. So yeah, that was really good.
Yes,
that was really good. Yes.
Great episode again.
Yeah, this was a good episode in the new year, 2025. Yes, if you like this episode, you want to listen to more of us, please go to our YouTube channel. This is a video aspect. It's on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, like the videos, subscribe to our follow us on Instagram. We will have a website coming out very soon for merch and things for you to further just see from us. So follow us on Instagram. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Hulu. Not Hulu. Why do I keep saying Hulu? Amazon Music. I don't know why Amazon Music is Hulu.
You might be manifesting a contract right there.
Maybe. But yeah, and rate and review us, like us, and share it. Share the podcast. Send us in your manifestations. We're so grateful to have a manifestation from my brother Evan that he sent us in. Yes. So please send us. And thank you. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.